As a fellow ADHDer, I can totally understand how it feels like breakups, relationship repair, and relationships in general can feel a lot more difficult with ADHD. So this isn't just in your head. The things that can come with ADHD can also feel like they work against us when it comes to repairing a relationship. So in today's video, I want to break down why it feels harder trying to repair a relationship with ADHD. But I also want to break down how we can use our ADHD to our advantage in terms of repairing the relationship. Like I said, as a fellow ADHDer, I can understand how ADHD can feel like a blocker, or it makes everything in terms of repairing a relationship much harder. Sometimes ADHD challenges can crop up as a result of a relationship going through a rocky patch. This is something that I see time and time again, is working with people who have got an ADHD diagnosis and then suddenly their relationship is in a difficult spot, and those two can go hand in hand. So it can be really common. So I totally get that. And I can understand how ADHD can make a relationship feel harder. One of the first reasons that it can feel so difficult is we can get this sort of dopamine crash. So a relationship is oftentimes a consistent source of dopamine. That is the reward chemical that our brain gives us. So when a relationship goes through a difficult patch or a rocky patch or a breakup, our brain can experience a literal chemical withdrawal. So for us ADHDers who already have a lower baseline of dopamine, this means that it's not just a sort of feeling of sadness. This can feel like a crisis. So you can find yourself checking your partner's social media or texting them just to try and get that hit of connection, that sort of dopamine hit, even if this actually works against the relationship repair. We can fall into this pattern of trying to get that dopamine source that we've had for so long in the relationship. The second thing that can make ADHD feel like it's getting in the way of relationship repair is this idea of rejection sensitivity or rejection sensitive dysphoria, which I've spoken about a lot on this channel. This is kind of common in people with ADHD. This is something that can make the pain of rejection feel agonizing. And this can trigger this sense of rejection, this worry of rejection can trigger kind of a fight or flight response. So this means that people who go through a rocky patch in a relationship can fight the idea of breakup, and they try and logic their way through the relationship challenges, or over-explaining, sending piles and piles of text messages, desperately trying to fix this perception of you, trying to fight this rejection. Or can go to the opposite end of the spectrum and try to flee it, try to persuade ourselves that the relationship was never going to work in the first place, and I'm never going to speak with them again. I can't handle this idea that they don't like me, or they are rejecting me, or they want to break up with me, so I'm just going to hide away. I'm going to cut off all contact, and that's the way I'm going to deal with this situation. Both of these extremes can actually push your partner further and further away, can actually increase the disconnect. And if you're trying to repair a relationship, this can work massively against you. But there's also challenges with what we call time blindness. So people with ADHD can experience time in a different way. Repairing a relationship specifically requires a lot of patience, a lot of pacing, and a lot of very slow but deliberate moves and repetitious sort of processes. I've spoken about them in other videos, which I'll link to down below. But for us fellow ADHDers, our brains can struggle with this concept of give it time, give it space, be patient. Leaving it a week, leaving it 2 weeks, leaving it a month or so between messaging, conversations, etc. Our brains can struggle with this concept. So 2 days can feel like 2 months when you're in emotional pain with ADHD. And this leads to rushing the relationship repair. And this is really important to understand, that relationship repair, the process, is not fixed. It's not solved in a couple of weeks. It's not solved in a couple of months, especially for long-term relationships. The relationship repair process, building that relationship, takes time. And this is something to be constantly worked on and evolved as a process. This is why, I talk about on this channel these ex-back, get your ex back in 60 days, or these $100 courses of just drop $100 on this and you'll get your ex back in 60 days kind of stuff. It doesn't work, and it's not designed to work. It's designed to make you feel good for a little bit, and then once you get to the end of it, to say, hey, don't worry about it. It's not repairable, it's their fault, and it's designed to make you feel good, right? So that's why when, I talk about relationship repair, I know it works against me, but it's important to understand repair to a long-term relationship takes time and it takes pacing. So for us ADHDers who can struggle with time blindness, it can massively impact and feel like we're not making any progress, or we're doing things the wrong way, or that it's not repairable. And that's the biggest shame. I work with a lot of ADHDers, and one of the things that comes up a lot is this feeling of having to start some conversation instantly today with your partner in order to stop them from wanting to explore another relationship, or stop them from wanting to take space or time for themselves, or stop them from making moves that feel like they're permanent moves. This is one of the mindsets that people can struggle with, is this idea that relationship repair and building back trust takes time and it takes patience. And that's not always working in an ADHD's favor. And this is what I've seen, changing the mindset, the way you see not just the relationship repair, but life in general. Seeing things in a long-term light will allow you to make much more deliberate changes that will actually have a stronger impact on the relationship repair, but everything in your life. And this is why my most successful members have adopted this mindset, and that is put them on a path to a much stronger relationship repair in the future. And if you do want to join us, then feel free to join my relationship bootcamp, where you'll learn the same fundamental concepts that all of my members start with to start repairing and rebuilding and regrowing their relationships from the ground up. All you have to do is click on the link in the description if you want to grab your spot. So if you're trying to repair a relationship, demanding to have the relationship talk before your partner is ready, or failing to give the space necessary for them to actually process information and to regulate their emotions, is going to cause a lot of damage. But there's also our kind of ADHD's executive function, organizational capacity. So sometimes our brain can struggle with, if things aren't directly in front of us, then they kind of feel like they've gone forever. And this can lead to a lot of frantic, panicked behavior. So ADHD brains can struggle with what we call executive function. So this is the organization, it's in the prefrontal cortex of the brain. And ADHDers can struggle with these small, kind of boring changes, building better communication habits, building strong emotional regulation, getting organized with our day, things like that. These small but boring changes actually sustain long-term relationship repair. And that's why a lot of ADHDers can struggle with repairing a relationship, is because they don't know how to prioritize what needs to be worked on the most, but also how to prioritize and organize their time in order to make these changes and build them into their daily lives. And that's something that can be a big struggle with ADHDers. So that leaves the question, how do we get around all of these challenges? Especially with ADHD, how can we start making tweaks to our mindsets, our habits, our lives, in order to not just overcome these challenges within the relationship repair, but also the ADHD challenges that we can struggle with? These can go hand in hand, as I mentioned. So repairing the connection, as I speak about a lot on this channel, is oftentimes more about changing the way that you do things, the way that you approach things, and the way that you approach not just the relationship repair, but the habits that you build, the beliefs that you have, and the way that you live your life. So fixing a relationship isn't just about getting them back. It's not just about reconciliation. It's about upgrading the system, the relationship system, so that it doesn't break again. So we can actually use ADHD to our advantage in this situation. Knowing your strengths and weaknesses will allow you to hyper-focus in areas that are effective in order to change things for the better. So if there was one tip that I would give a fellow ADHDer who is trying to repair their relationship, it would be hyper-focus on self-regulation. So all of our ADHD focus that we can have on things that we're interested in, take the focus away from what your partner or your ex-partner is doing and more towards yourself. This is a perfect time to be actually selfish. Thinking about yourself and focusing on what you do is a lot easier because A, it's of interest to us. As everyone knows, we see life through our own lens. So being told to focus on yourself can actually be quite easy once it clicks how important it is. So instead of focusing on what your ex-partner is doing, focus on what you are doing. focus on how you're seeing the world, focus on how regulated you are, the more you can turn your focus inwards, the more you can focus on what is effective and what isn't effective in what you do. Once you master your own nervous system, you become the grounded, attractive version of yourself that your partner probably first fell in love with. The version of you that starts a relationship is often different from the version of you that ends a relationship. And you're still the same person, you still have that capability, but it's a matter of getting focused on the processes that got you there in the first place. The next thing is to externalize time. Now this sounds really weird, and I know a lot of people are gonna maybe feel a little bit annoyed with what I'm about to say, but sticking with a calendar, not just for organizing your time, but organizing your energy as well, is going to help. It's not gonna be perfect, it's gonna fail, but externalizing what you do onto some form of management system that's very simple is gonna help you more than doing nothing. There's a lot of people out there that will say calendars don't work for ADHD. And I completely understand that. There is no one perfect system for ADHD, but choosing an imperfect system and sitting in the discomfort of it not being perfect is most of the time more effective than spending all your energy trying to find a perfect system and never getting anything done. So externalizing your time in order to get you organized on what you do, emotional regulation, practicing communication skills, etc. This will help you to structure your time a lot better and develop the patience needed to repair a relationship. So not trusting your feelings on when to reach out. Using a calendar, again, that I understand is imperfect, but using a calendar in order to set yourself a schedule as to what you do. This means that you'll be able to log what you do, as well as plan what you are wanting to do. This way, you'll know whether it's been 2 weeks since you spoke with your ex-partner or 2 months. The next thing is really important. If you feel like you want to reach out to your ex-partner, just randomly, sporadically, especially if you're wanting to explain, you're wanting to logic, you're wanting to ask your partner, beg for your partner's forgiveness, open up an empty Word document or Google document, whatever you use, open up an empty document and just draft it out. Just write down everything that you feel like you want to say, everything that you feel like they should know, etc. Write it all out. Get it out of your mind. Use that impulsivity that you have to act on that impulsivity, but without using it to send to your partner. Do not send it to your partner. Do not write that letter. I've done videos on the letter to your partner, which I'll link to on the screen and in the description down below. But use your impulsivity and your creativity to write it all out. Get it out of your brain and down onto paper. This will help clear up your working memory. So ADHDers can struggle with a lower capacity of working memory, which is like the RAM of your brain. If the RAM is getting filled up in your brain, it can be difficult to process anything else. It can be difficult to process other things coming in. So clearing out that RAM cache will help you to get the other stuff in your day done. If you're finding yourself like you're wanting to reach out or you need to express some feelings, write it down into a brain dump, take 15 minutes, get it out, clear your RAM, and then move on with the stuff that is effective and important in your day. This way, you're still using your ADHD creativity and impulsivity, you're using that, but you're using it for good, and you're not sending it to your partner and pushing them away further. And this kind of brings me on to my next point, which is when you feel that urge to reach out to your partner, we can struggle with time blindness as to when we actually last reached out and what it was about. This is why having some external time accountability system is going to be really helpful to you. I've actually done a deeper dive video on this exact subject of understanding before you reach out, the questions that you should be asking yourselves before you reach out to your partner is going to make things a lot more effective when you do reach out. Because reaching out with no clue, no plan, no idea is going to hurt you more than it's going to help you. So I'm going to leave you with that deep dive video, and I will see you over there.